Shalom, balance, paradise, righteousness, all back up in the lab. Feminine energy one more again. And I've got a legendary sea star with me in the building, Sister Nicky Love, aka Wunam, the legendary, and I would class the one of the foundational and mother figures of the modern day conscious community. Welcome to the broadcast, Easter.
Oh, Modi Busta. Modi Busta. That means how are you in my tribal tongue, in my African tribal tongue. Okay.
Give
I'm
thanks.
good. I'm good. How are
One
you?
Wonderfield, Sea Star, and it's been well overdue this build, man, and needed to get this one done. Needed to document your story because as we're in 2020 and there's a lot of information going out and about. I want to make sure I document and make sure that people know some of the foundational members and foundational figures who have created a scene and have allowed um, people to come through platforms, promote, share information, and to grow and become the people and the figures they are today. So yeah, we're gonna go into the DeLorean Sea Star, and we're gonna go back in time first before we even get to that.
Okay. Okay.
So take us back, mate. Take us back. Where was you born and raised?
Well, I was born and raised in Brooklyn,
B-
right?
BK all day.
Brooklyn, New York, by the way of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, Mostly New York is my home. New
Yeah.
York is my home. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we can still hear in your accent, C Star. We still can still hear that Brooklyn. You ain't lost that accent, man.
Yeah. I haven't lost the accent at all.
So so okay, Brooklyn. What was it? So paint a picture, because I always like to try and get a feel of how it was growing up at that time. So so were we talking 80s? We're talking 70s. What kind of period we're talking about when we're growing up as like a teenager?
That's a sneaking way of asking my age. But
No,
anyway,
I ain't going that way, C Star. I never
no,
ask a woman her age. Don't worry about that,
oh,
there.
I don't even mind telling my age because I turned 50 in May. So you have to know it was the 70s, growing up in the
Yes.
70s, right?
Hmm.
Um, Growing up in the 70s was a beautiful thing. Of course, as common as it is, my grandmother helped raise me a lot. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, growing up in the 70s in New York was a beautiful thing. I loved it. It's one of those things. Whereas, you know, there's nothing like New York. Although we still had Africa in the home.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So what kind of because again, let's just deal with the duality. So 70s BK, I know that there was a lot of wonderful scenes and wonderful memories and happiness going on, and I also know that there was some crazy, wild stuff going on. So how much of the crazy, wild stuff was you exposed to?
Honestly speaking, back if you're talking about in the 70s, I it was a beautiful time. But back then you're talking about the Black Panther movement and
Hmm.
a lot of Vietnam vets coming from Vietnam. There was a lot of Black Power stuff going on back then in the 70s too. I remember only because my mother and father were involved with the Black Panther movement at that time.
Okay.
Um, so you're talking about it wasn't a lot of bad stuff. It was a lot of educating. One thing I do love about New York is because the people who don't know, New York, it's not about being conscious, it's being consciously aware. And that's what you find in New York over the years from the 60s to the 70s.
Mm.
People were always aware of their culture, their blackness, or their, you know, cultural way of life in New York. You've seen a diversity of different cultures in New York. So I mean, being exposed to that was a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
Whereas living in the South now, for a while they didn't know there was Dominicans or other
Yes.
Africans or stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So New York, growing up in New York was a beautiful thing because you were exposed to a lot of diversity and of course your culture. the
That's it.
original culture.
Yes, yes. So, okay. So, was there, as you've mentioned, Africa? So clearly there was, people from Nigeria, for instance, Senegal, wherever in New York. So we also had the Dominicans, we had some Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, etc. How was that all mix going on? Because I can see as you're painting the picture, there seems to be back then there doesn't seem to be as much division in regards to where you reside. It was more about what are you doing, how are you trying to be a better person kind of thing, how are you living kind of thing, how can we help each other.
Yeah, back then it wasn't a divide. I mean, we all grew up in the same block. Like in Brooklyn, we had sisters and brothers from Haiti. We had our African sisters and brothers, our Africans in America, Dominican.
Mm,
Everybody got along. We all got along. Um, it wasn't no divide, but back then there was still some racism going on though, because in certain parts of Brooklyn you had the Italians, and the Italians
yes.
didn't come over this side, because there was still some racism. Don't get it confused, y'all, because there
Mm,
was some racism, but for the most part, we all kind of related and respected each other's, ways of life. You know what I mean?
yes. 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 So on a spiritual slash religious point at that time, teenage era, growing going into young womanhood, where was your sort of spiritual or religious system at that point?
I didn't have a religious system. My well, first of all, my grandmother raised me, and on my maternal side is from Africa.
Hmm.
They were from Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde, you know where Cabo Verde is next to
Yes.
Senegal.
Hmm.
So my maternal side, we didn't go to church. We had our traditions. And this is something that, it's sort of like, how with the Haitians, but how they would hide behind Catholicism. That
Yes.
was the same with some of the things that we did. So there was things you did not tell outside of the family,
Okay.
that we would do behind closed doors. Because for years, nobody knew, and they knew we didn't go to church. They
Hmm.
knew we never went to church. Now,
Yes. Yes.
with saying that, we had Africa in the house, we had our traditions. But now, my dad's side, my father's side, he's African in America.
Hmm.
My grandmother, his mother was a pastor. They had a church in North Carolina. So I was blessed to have both sides. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So
And
was
I
you
didn't meet my paternal grandmother until I was 14. So I didn't know who she was, but I found out all that after I met her. But on my mother, my maternal side is my mother, we were raised with African traditions and culture.
so how was that like friends peer wise and growing up in school? Obviously, as you say, it wasn't something you did overtly, but did you think that you were maybe special? Obviously, you were different in regards to what other people were doing, but how did that play out sort of amongst your peers and stuff?
Well, it didn't play out. I mean, because they didn't know what we did. It was
Mm,
never, and they knew we didn't go to church, but
hmm.
they, kind of probably felt like, well, what do they do? But everybody didn't go to church. In New York, it wasn't required. Like sort of like here in the South, it's the Bible Belt. We
Yes.
didn't have that in New York. A lot of people didn't go to church. They wouldn't think about church, nothing, nothing at all. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it wasn't no big deal. Whereas if I would have grown up in the South, oh, you don't go to church, you don't believe in God, you know what I mean? We didn't have to
Yes.
deal with that in New York, because you have to remember again, New York being a diverse place, you had cultures from everywhere. You have Chinese, Russians,
Mm,
Sweden, and they all had their own belief systems.
a huge melting pot.
Yeah.
So the spiritual system do you follow, does it have a name?
Yeah, it's called frutista. It's called frutista. That's the tradition in Cabo Verde.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's called frutti, and it's just basically like saying voodoo,
Hmm.
and voodoo means spirit, but it's
Yes.
called frutista. Yeah.
And does that relate to the native tongue of the island? Why it's called
Well,
that?
the native tongue is a mix. You know that. You have 10 islands in Cabo Verde, and the native tongue is a mix of Portuguese,
Hmm.
Fulani, and Wolof.
Aha.
Yeah, it's mixed. It's not just one. Everybody think it's just Portuguese, but no. Some of the words are Wolof, depending on what island you come from,
Yeah.
and then some of the words are mixed with Fulani.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it, man. Some more jewels,
That's
some more.
why they'll say we speak Creole. We
Yeah.
speak Creole
Hmm.
because it's mixed, a mix of language, just like in Haiti with
Yes.
French. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so so you've got an understanding clearly of English, hence we're speaking in it now. But so you've got your mother tongue, which you're fluent in, Nikki.
Yeah. Now I'm not fluent in it. Don't give me the lying.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I should be more fluent, but growing up, you don't want to learn like you're supposed to,
Yes,
especially in New
yes.
York. But I know a lot of. I can understand more than I speak, but I speak enough to understand. To
You
say
can
a
get
few
by.
words.
You can get by.
Right,
You can
right,
greet and
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right then. All right.
yeah.
So NY was clearly a place which was a molding and shaping point in regards to the conscious awareness and the Black Panther influence. Um, when do we make the trip down south?
Oh, the trip down south didn't happen until 2000, in the 2000s. Okay.
Okay.
Spirit told me to come down here. I was gonna go to Maryland and to stay closer to New York, and Spirit
Hmm.
said go to Georgia, and I went to Georgia. I came to Georgia. Um, the beautiful thing about it is that it's a good thing I came to Georgia because this land was connected to Africa at one time. So it was probably the ancient ones calling me back to Georgia. You know what I mean?
With that red
Yeah.
soil.
Oh yeah, yeah. And what was funny is because I started seeing trees in certain parts of Georgia, and I just felt like the energy just felt no. This land was a part of Africa at one time, and then it was Brother Aseer who actually was talking about the exotic map, and
Okay. Yes.
right, and we went to look up the exotic map and come to find out this place of Georgia used to be called Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know this, but I knew that when I came here, I didn't have any idea. I just felt Africa with this place called Georgia. And come to find out, after I seen that, I looked up the exotic map as Aseer was talking about it. Then there was a documentary they were doing about different places in Georgia, and the white people were talking about how this North Africa was connected to Georgia at one time, and they had a map showing how it connected and then it divided.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah,
You see,
yeah.
it's excellent. I mean, and also bringing it, and I think I'll, if I can, I'll see if I can actually leave a link below for that exotic map because it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see continents because um there are hundreds of map makers, and we're familiar with only a handful of them. But the further back we go, we can see some very interesting names of places. We can see, places which were once wasn't connected, which they are connected. So it just gives you a better understanding of, where places were, where people were specifically as well, and where they still might be today.
Right.
Um, versus stories which are told and stuff. So no, that is excellent. That is really good.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot that's being exposed for what it is. And one of the beautiful things about being spiritual is this is something I picked up without even having knowledge that it was like that one time.
Repeat that last thing again. Sorry, sis.
As I said, what's beautiful about it is my energy of being spiritual
Hmm.
was able to pick up the connection between Africa and the state of Georgia with
Yes.
before I even had knowledge that it was connected at one time. Yeah.
Think synchronicity and it's connections, as you say. The ancestors and
Yeah.
yeah, man. It's we have some people, different cultures, different countries have different terminologies. In more European terminologies, some people might you utilize or use the terminology guardian angels, who guide you to certain places and stuff. So I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. Can you break down a little bit more about um the spiritual system?
The spiritual system of what I deal with, Futista.
Yes, yes, Futista. That's it. Yes.
Well, pretty much the spiritual system we deal with, majority of our gods and gods are water spirits because Cabo Verde is covered by a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you also have to remember the mix of African brothers and sisters, especially that was taken from the surrounding areas of Angola, Mozambique, Senegal,
Mm-hmm.
that was taken to Cabo Verde that never got rid of the original, you know, um, systems of traditional medicine. So some of our gods also are similar to the gods in Senegal, okay, or
Ah.
Angola, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So Senegal, Angola, Cabo Verde, some of the gods we use are similar, but in Cabo Verde we have a lot of water gods because we're surrounded by water. The history goes, it's supposed to be a myth, but we don't know. We wasn't there at that time. That the reason the women supposedly in Cabo Verde are so beautiful because they were mermaids, right? Everybody heard about that mermaid story.
Wow.
So there's a
Okay.
story we were told when we looked at that all the women that met with the sailors were all mermaid women. We don't know. We wasn't there, but we do
Yeah.
know that they do exist.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of water gods that we deal with, similar to like if you go to Europe or in Europe and Ifa, they deal with Olokun. He's a water god. Deal
Yes.
with what I mean, Mami Wata or Yemoja. They're
Mm-hmm.
water gods, right? So we have a lot of water gods more than anything, but we do still have our gods that we use. And every tribe in Africa has their own gods that they use. Every tribe has gods that are similar to the other tribe's gods. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the traditional system is not much different from Yoruba or a Khan or you know what I mean?
Okay, there's just slight variations of sorts with names, and I guess is there colors attributed to each deity as well?
Well, no, it's different. It's different because, like,
Okay.
for instance, if I wear white and red in my tradition, that might be for Mariajo, but it's Sango's colors in Yoruba. You know what I mean?
Ah, okay.
So what people need to know is that there's over 3,000 tribes in Africa. Every
Mm-hmm.
tribe has their gods that they call upon, they talk to, and most of them are similar in aspects. So such as, like I said, a Mariajo, that's an Igbo god, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have an Igbo god that's it's in charge of lightning and fire, but then you have Sango who does the same thing, but one is from one tribe and one is from the other tribe. You see?
Yes.
So what people need to understand is that every tribe has their own gods and goddesses or whatever they want to call them, or Risa, or spirit, or whatever they want to call them. Um, and pretty much, although we know Africa was colonized, a lot of Africans are coming back to the traditions too. We've always been a people of spirituality, of being indigenous to the land.
Yes.
Always having the respect for nature, always understanding the spirit of the water, the spirit of the fire, sun, earth, or whatever you want to call it. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, the spiritual systems in Africa is not much different, just different names and different gods. That's it.
Okay. Okay. And principles then let's get to because that's quite universal as you say in regard based upon the plethora of different tribes and stuff. Are there any guiding principles within the spiritual system as well, or is it a lot let's play ignorance. Is it all ritual based, or are there guiding principles that people should be adhering to?
There's guiding principles. I don't care what tribe you come from. You
Hmm.
understand? Now, we do know that you have people that do, bad in
Yes.
tradition, you have a tribe called the Ndoki tribe. The Ndoki tribe is not a good tribe. The story goes is that they would use babies for sacrifice or eat babies, right?
Hmm.
And they're a very hidden tribe. Well, I don't want people to get confused and think Africa's all good because there's bad tribes in Africa too. People do bad ritual work too. Okay.
Yes.
But
Nikki, the
uh-huh.
Undoku tribe, where would they be located? Is that spread across Africa, or are they in a
No,
specific
they're in
kind
the
of
West
region?
Africa. They're in the West Africa between the Gambia and between Senegal.
Okay.
And they're a very hidden tribe. Very hidden. They're called the Ndoki. But that was years ago. I don't know what's going on with them now. But the point is, there's some people, you're supposed to go by principles. The rule is in where I come from,
Hmm.
okay? The rule is where I come from, and the tribes I've been initiated with. Basically, the covenant is you don't use this traditional work against your people.
Hmm.
That's one of the one of the principles. You're supposed to use your gift and use it for good to help
Yes.
your people and the tribe.
Hmm.
But it's not always like that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Now, this is
Yeah.
where we get to people's skepticism and people thinking that bring in the negative connotations. Now, usually within doing the work, as it's known,
Hmm.
it's for the upliftment, for healing, for prosperity, for reciprocity. Um, where does the lines blur and it becomes on that particular tribe or those wicked people saying, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and bring misfortune potentially on somebody, or how does that all work?
What? Say that again.
Y-
Where do
Well,
you draw the line?
well, no. Where do we go from being good and being positive and trying to, help people to them saying, you know what, if someone comes to me and pays me some money, I'm gonna do something wicked to whoever they've told me I'm gonna do something wicked to. How do we get to that point?
Well, it's just you have good and bad people. Just like in the church, you have people that pray in the name of Jesus to kill people, to hurt people.
Yes, very
You
true.
see, so it's the person itself. It's not the tradition. It's not the act or whatever your beliefs are. It's the person himself who chose to do evil.
Mm,
I don't choose to do evil. I'm one that says I'll send you away if you ask me to do something. And I've had people come to me to want to pay me money to do rituals to kill. No, I don't do that. That's not
mm,
what I do. Okay. So with saying that, you just have the individuals who are living that side of wanting to be evil
yeah.
or want to be disagreeable and will take any money to do what they do because first of all, they're greedy for money. For two, they're just plain evil. They're
Mm.
plain evil. They don't take their tradition or their gift serious. And that's a problem. That's a
So,
problem.
so in essence, as I like to highlight, it's about application, isn't it? Everything can be used for good, and things can be used for bad. It's about the
Exactly.
person and the
Right.
intent and how it's used.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Success rates then. So how successful um, are practitioners in regards to um, living? Let's not bring any financial or any kind of assets into it, but being utilizing this. I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this. Utilizing this system,
Mhm.
how does it benefit you?
It benefits you a great deal. People don't know. If you only knew about your African traditions, if you only knew that you was truly connected to nature, if you only knew that you could make the fire move and make the
Mm,
water rise, right?
mm-hmm.
It's very successful because you're truly a part of the all. As I was writing in my book called How They Stripped You from Nature, you're a part of the all. You're made up of the same things of the earth. So why wouldn't you think that you can use the forces of nature to work for you? Now, with saying that, a lot of people want to say, well, food, clothing, and shelter come first. Well, guess what? Nature provides everything that we need to sustain life. And without paying homage to nature, you cannot get food, clothing, or shelter, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand it's deeper than that. It's knowing that you're interconnected with the very thing that you're a part of. When you walk outside, you walk into yourself. And this is one of the things in Africa, people will notice we're very in tune with nature. That's why a lot of the spiritual work we do is successful if you're doing what's righteous.
Yes.
Okay. Um, and my thing is I'm very big on doing what's righteous and doing what you need to do to help people, period. Okay.
Mm,
Um, as far as doing rituals, a lot of people say, well, it's no different than the church, or you're praying to this god or you're praying to that god. Okay, we have a thing in Africa, we say "Sham Prabhu Kuz, Baparat Mather." The shrine is in you. Okay,
mm-hmm.
the shrine is in you. So really, the truth is, without without you calling upon these gods, they're not going to work. So really, you're putting the power into activating and manifesting these gods to work for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to remember this has been done for centuries. So you're talking about an energy that has been manifested into existence, which now is asking for offerings such as a chicken or fowl or goat or cow or whatever you need to give it to make it work, because somebody started it that way and they caused these to be in existence. Just like I tell Christians, your God is real. If you believe in God, he's real in your world. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because my thing is, without God, there's no man, and without man, there's no God.
Facts.
So, what we need to understand is a lot of times, I think, when we get involved in traditions, we're
Mm-hmm.
pretty much paying homage to most of these gods or these Orises or these deities. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they work because so many people are putting energy into them. And
Yes.
as long as you're doing what's righteous with it, it's going to work even more. A lot of people don't know that, you know?
Energy, emotion.
Right.
It's a currency which the spiritual world is it pays dividends back there. Um, would you say, is there a head deity, or are all the deities on the same kind of level, or is yeah?
Well, I mean, it depends on where you come from and what your belief is.
Mm-hmm.
If you, such as in Europe, but they say Odula Mare, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's their head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Igbo we say Chukwu is the head, right? And depending on what tribe you come from, everybody what I want to say to people is that there's some type of higher power. Your internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're back now, sis.
Can you hear me? Power. Personally, what I believe that we come from star systems, like the Dogon said, right?
Okay, okay,
I
star seeds.
right. I feel like I'm not even gonna say stars. I feel like we come from star systems, our energies, but I feel like we were created by beings. Okay, that's what I believe.
Okay, all right then. Let's dig into that then. So we as humans were created by multiple other beings, or one being that created us out there in the solar system.
I don't think it's one being. I think there's multiple. I think every planet in the solar system has their own beings.
Okay, so kind of similar to like the Prometheus kind of thing.
You know what? We watched Prometheus, but let me tell you what Spirit showed me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Spirit showed me that we're water beings. Our planet is made of 75% water, right?
Yes.
So Spirit showed me that we're water beings because our body's 75% water, our brain is 95%, our blood is 83%. So logically thinking, every baby is born in a mother's womb is water. They start out looking like fish or amphibians or whatever you want to call them.
Yes, yes. Tadpoles initially. Yeah.
Right, tadpoles, right. So it would say to think logically we're water beings. So now Spirit showed me if I go to Venus, that they're going to be made up of the same elements of their planet, which is volcanic rock. We can't fathom that because we just think that we're the only beings that exist in the whole galaxy or the universe. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they probably think we're weird. You see,
yeah.
or
Yes.
and Jupiter being one of the most spiritual and hugest planet that protects the Earth, their beings are super spiritual. And I actually have visions of these, and people think you're crazy. People think you're crazy when you say this, but I go there spiritually, right?
Like astral projecting kind of thing.
No, I don't even say astral projection. I'm able to communicate while I'm right here. I'm communicating with them. I do a lot of readings.
Yes, yes,
So to
yes.
share with you a story, I had a young man. He was very much into the, cosmic and the beings and
Mm,
aliens and all that good stuff. So he said, can you contact them? So I said, okay. I says, let me see. So when I began to tap in with my first eye, not my third eye, my first eye,
uh-huh.
They took me to Venus. This is a real story now. They took me to Venus, and there was these beings that were very dark skinned,
Humanoid looking beings.
humanoid looking beings. They had white hair. There were four of them. Two of them were tall. There was a woman, there was a man, and then there was one short one, and then another small one. There was four, and they were communicating with me telepathically. They told me to write down some symbols, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wrote down the symbols, and then I told him, I said, they said they want you to decipher these symbols. So I gave it to the guy I was reading for. A month later, I was watching the History Channel, and they were showing you, I think it was Sumerian text. I don't know if it was the Epic of Gilgamesh or the Emerald Tablets. I'm
Emerald
sorry.
tablets. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. It was an Emerald Tablet, and the same symbols that they had given me, I seen them in the Emerald Tablets on the History Channel a month later.
Wow.
Yeah. So with saying that, I was like, huh. I had to pause the TV and stop, and I pulled out the paper. I said,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Three of the symbols that they give me five. Three of them was on the Emerald Tablets.
Flipping out.
Right. See what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
mind you, I'm doing a reading now because I do ancestral readings. And when I'm able to do ancestral readings, I communicate. Thank you. I communicate with your ancestors. A lot of times people say, well, how do you know this? How do you know what they look like? Da, da, da. Because I feel that I use more strands of my DNA, but that's the gift I've been given to be able to go back into those
Mm.
dimensions to be able to see like that. So with saying that, I'm able to communicate with these spiritual or cosmic beings. Okay. People don't understand this is real.
Yeah.
This is real.
For shiggity, man.
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. 'Cause I, I know you see stuff for quite some time, for a number of years now,
Mhm.
and we know, and there's been evidence on television and stuff of charlatans running around talking about their clairvoyance, and there's
Yeah.
this big TV productions, and they'll call, oh, I can see John in the audience, and yeah,
Yeah. Fake. Yeah. Fake. Hmm. Hmm.
and which clearly give a very bad name to people who can actually really put the work in. Now,
Yeah. I know.
it's I can imagine it's quite troublesome and problematic for you at times with clients who may be interested but are a bit dubious based upon maybe what they've seen or
What? What's crazy is, and my husband was just saying, a lot of times we know there's people that been ripped off by these people when they come to us when they don't have the money. You know what I mean? To pay.
mm,
But you see a lot of this, and it's sad because people have been taken advantage of. It's kind of hard to kind of say, well, don't trust them because they've been ripped off or taken advantage. But it's no different than a church.
yeah,
Okay. No different than the church, and they go to church and the pastor said he healed somebody, come up here knowing there's somebody fake in the audience, and getting
yes,
these people to come pay all kind of money. So it's no different. I think we just have to understand that whether it's be it what we do as, and I don't like to say psychic, I don't like to use that word because I'm gonna be African first all the time. I'm a
mm-hmm,
seer.
mm-hmm,
Okay. So with saying that, or indigenous to the land traditional healer. So with saying that, people got to understand. I don't care whether you're Buddha. I don't care whether you believe in Jesus, God, Allah. You have people in this world that are bad and
yes,
people that are evil, and they will do anything evil in the name of whatever they believe in, and they don't care. So we have to stop putting everybody into one category. I can't say every pastor is bad because they're not. Every pastor is not an evil person and out to get money. You see what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
It's not fair. So I think what people need to do is start opening their minds and learning how, because every human being has a natural intuition anyway. Start learning how to read your damn selves. You know what I mean? Start looking at, people a little bit more, stronger and saying, hey, I don't know, because well, I guess it's easier for me because I can read people's spirits. You know what I mean? But still, you have a natural idea of whether someone's evil or bad or good. You know what I mean?
Definitely, you got to do your due diligence and be a bit more, not so much utilize common sense. We've got to utilize just sense. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Logical sense. Some things are just logical. Come on now. But I just know that you just have to be careful. I mean, I'm very big on doing what's righteous. I'm very big on helping. I mean, we do this 24/7. This is how I live. This is how I make my living. Reading, products, spiritual baths, rituals to help people, and we've helped a lot of people. I mean, over the years, I can't even tell you. And I'm still helping people from all over the world, not just here in the United States. I got clients in Guyana. I got clients in Barbados. I got clients in Jamaica. You know what I mean?
UK, don't forget the UK.
Yeah, actually, you know what? And you're right. I had 3 clients in the UK. Yes, I do. I have the UK. So yeah, and I had some clients in Australia too. Yeah.
This is it, man.
So
It's
yeah,
worldwide. It's definitely worldwide
yeah.
with your influence and your reach, C Star. Um, whilst we're on this topic, I've seen a few documentaries and stuff, and in this kind of arena of sorts, um, and they posed a question, and I thought this is a very good one for you to answer. When you're doing your readings and stuff or contacting and seeing, has there ever been a time where someone's tried to a spirit has tried to come and deceive you?
You know, no.
Do you know what I mean? Because
I know
the,
what you mean because there's disagreeable spirits and they'll come in and
yes.
try to show you something different, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, no. And that's why you keep your protection on so these things can't enter your body.
Okay. You got your things, yeah.
Yeah. Keep your you keep your protection on. Um People will say that though. And I hear what you're saying because I had a years ago when I was doing the radio show, there was a prophetess that came on my show and she told me that what I'm seeing, the messages I'm getting is coming from the devil.
Wow.
And I said, really? I said, the messages you're getting is coming from the devil,
I think I
right?
remember that show as well, C Star.
You remember? And
Yeah.
and we was arguing. I was like, no. I said, you can come on my show and tell me that I'm getting messages from the devil. Like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing that they do the same thing we do. You call yourself a prophetess. I'm a seer. And really, if you look in your own Bible, you go back to Daniel, he'll tell you he was a seer too. He
Mm.
didn't say he was a prophet, a prophetess, a prophet. So my thing is, at the end of the day, um, I always say this. I will say this. You're not always going to be 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what nobody says. They'll tell you, "Oh, well, I'm 100." No, no, nobody's 100% accurate.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm good, and sometimes I can be a little off. And I tell people all the time, I don't profess to be 150% right all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
can be off. But do I get messages from a disagreeable spirit or disagreeable beings? No, because they're not allowed in my path. As a matter of fact, when I do exorcisms, they flee. And I'm not trying to be funny, but they flee
Mm.
because they
Well,
know I don't like them. I don't like disagreeable spirits. I don't like devils or demons.
being righteous, of course, you won't see star. You've touched on the protection elements without giving too much away. How does one protect self from disagreeable spirits?
Well, one of the things you want to do is, first of all, your home. Start with your home first, your physical home. You want to make sure your home, you constantly smoke out your house at least 5 times, 6 times a week. You want to keep protection inside your house. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, as far as your body home, you want to keep protection on because a lot of people are running around here lately being diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar
Yes.
and all of that when it's nothing but spirits, okay? Different type of spirits entering their body, so they should keep their protection on. So you really want to do is make sure that you keep your house and your body protected from these different type of energies.
Mm-hmm.
Even people that you're with, if you're dealing with personal people, whether it be unless you're married, but still your husband too, or your wife too. But if you're dealing with people, friends that are coming in and out of your house, always keep your house protected. Because right now, what we do know, as well as everybody's waking up, we do know there's different type of forces that's out here, and
Yeah.
it's just not demons. You have beings that come in here as well that are invisible that people don't see.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I'm talking about cosmic beings. You're talking about, several different type of demons that are out here that are manifested into existence by the Catholics. I'm gonna say it because it is what it is, that are roaming and they're looking to enter your house, your body, your mind, your soul, and tear up your family. So there's a lot
Yes.
of disagreeable energy right now too that we have to keep mind of and keep
Mm.
protected from.
So would you suggest maybe researching and looking into some crystal assistance for physical protection
Well, no,
or
I'm always going to be African first, and I'm going to say that I feel like crystals, they can help depending on
hmm
who, or what you're doing. But we deal with a lot of high level magic in Africa more than I would say. Crystal is a lower form of magic or protection.
okay.
Can it work? Yeah, we put the power into it. You can pray over it. You can,
Put
do
the
what you
intent
do.
into it, program it,
Right.
etc. Yeah.
Program it. Right.
hmm
But you want some real stuff, stuff like this that we're wearing. You see this right here?
Yes. The
Stuff like
cowrie
this.
shell and thing. Yes.
Right. With certain barks and trees and herbs that comes from Africa. If you want something a little bit more powerful, you can get that too. But we're talking about people that are dealing with some serious energy, which you need some serious protection. And
Mm.
I say that because right now I'm gonna give you an example. I was doing an exorcism about 3 years ago on this Hispanic girl, and years ago we can take frankincense, myrrh, we can mix it, and them demons would get out their body quick, right?
hmm
This demon in this girl's body sniffed the smoke up her nose and was like, "Oh, I love it." It was a demon, though, right? It was a
What?
demon. Yeah, that demon was not running or fleeing from frankincense and myrrh. So what that showed me as being a traditional healer doing exorcisms, uh ancestors, you got to give me something stronger because the demons are immune to
Yeah.
frankincense and myrrh now.
They're building up a tolerance to it, kind of thing.
Right. And it's just like sage, just like people think sage is going to get rid of demons. No, you need something stronger. You're talking about a person who's embedded demons is in their body. You need something stronger. So, in Africa, we have certain medicines that we use that we put cuts in the body and we put the medicines in to get rid of the demons. So that's
Oh.
something that has to be done on somebody that's dealing with multiple demons. You can't use frankincense and myrrh anymore.
Damn.
Yeah, she was like, oh, she stepped up the smoke, and I'm looking at her like, and I'm smacking her, get out of her, and I'm seeing the demons in her now.
hmm
I can see. I'm not talking to her. I can see them. I know what they look like. I can recognize them. How can I explain it? When I'm doing exorcisms, I look straight through the physical body and I can recognize the demons for who they are.
So is it the kind of like a shell of the person you can kind of see, or the demon kind of thing?
Yeah, well, it's the demon. There's different ones. There's
hmm
ones that look certain ways. They have different type of demons. You got depressed demons. You got alcoholic demons. You got demons that feed off of anger, and then they'll come
Yes.
out and you'll see them. And it's not like demons with a horn either. They have different forms to them. Some of them, like with one of them demons I seen, they have a protruding forehead, and you can see them. Some of them have like a hunchback. Those are the
What?
legion demons, and the person that's possessed, you'll see that energy inside of them.
I've heard, see, Star, I've heard that. The longer the disagreeable spirit is entangled into the physical form takes on characteristics of the disagreeable
Right,
spirit.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. So you have to be able to recognize it for who they are, and I do. And I do exorcisms, and I had a little girl that came to me last month, cute little girl, 6 years old, and she has a disease where they call it the 17 chromosome disease, but because she's an open vessel, it's a form of autism.
Hmm.
She was being possessed by spirits. They brought her to me all the way from North Carolina, and when we were cleaning her, you can hear the demon come out of her. Her voice got, and you talk about
Wow.
60-year-old girl, yeah. So I had to bring her back to another day. We had to do 2 cleanings on her. She's better now. She's not as bad, and then we had to
Yes.
put protection on her.
Give
But we
thanks.
get stuff like that often.
AC Star, they need to be doing a damn film about you, man.
Well, it's funny you say that because we're doing it now. We're doing a documentary exactly what we do. We do a lot of cleanses. We did a cleansing on a brother last weekend. We got 3 to do this weekend. We got 3 people coming to us to clean them off this weekend.
Mm.
But we're gonna film it. But we're in the mix of doing a documentary on it now.
Listen, it needs to go out there, man. This needs to
Yeah,
go out. Not no folly stuff that we've heard about in the past and all that. So we need some
yeah,
real thing out there to show. Because you're 100% correct, and it doesn't matter what spiritual system you want to put on it. This is factual stuff you were talking about.
yeah, yeah,
Disagreeable spirits and all them something there, which are inhabiting a lot of people right here now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, and see, people don't under. Some people think, oh well, no, 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 they got issues. No, you're not looking into it deeper. These
Mm,
people are being operated by spirits. They're getting walkthroughs in their body, and you have to pay attention. A lot of chaos in your house. You need to figure out, get a divination, and see, is there some spirits in your house? A lot of energy come. You know what I mean? Coming amongst your maid or your children.
yeah.
You need to make sure you look at them and make sure no demons in them, because the kids are getting attacked too.
And could this also be true in regards to someone giving you a physical item like a statue or
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
they can attach to, yeah, different things. So that's why if someone gives you something, you always want to smoke it off and take water breaks
Hmm.
anything that's put on anything. So
Simply
like
water.
simple water, like in Africa, if somebody does something or they give you something,
Hmm.
you have to throw it into some running water, or you can take water from the sink, run the water,
Hmm.
and it'll break whatever's put on. It don't have to be a body of water; it can be running water.
Just running, not yeah, okay, okay. So you
But
could
it's even better to do. It's even better to do if you can find like a river,
hmm
something that's moving. You could
natural.
throw it in there, right?
Mm.
But you can use regular water to run to take a water breaks any ritual.
Yeah, man. Mental notes. Mental notes.
Yeah, yeah. Just keep that in mind. Somebody give you something you're not sure, and you say, "Oh, I think they put something on this." Put it in the sink. Run the water on it.
Yeah, and also if you're having those kind of thoughts as well, and someone's giving you multiple things all the time, I'd maybe even suggest, reconsidering the kind of circle of people you're hanging around
Who
with,
you're
and
hanging around?
you
Yeah,
know what I mean, and accepting gifts
yeah,
from.
yeah. Yeah. I wonder what are you doing? Are you trying to put something on me? No, I don't know.
This
I'm
is it.
unfortunately people. You just have people, a set of people that want to do dumb stuff like that, and I have a low tolerance for stuff like that, my brother. I have a low tolerance to stuff like that because I take
Mm,
what I do very serious, and we've helped a lot of people. We just did initiations last month. We had 31 people come down, and we had a really nice time. But we did that's the third level of initiations we did. We have over 350, no, 500 now initiates over the years from 2011 to now, and over 1,500 members with the Wunam Sacred Society over the years. So
Wanna. That's
yeah,
excellent.
and we basically teach them the basic traditions of African tradition, as well as elemental magic
Hmm.
and sacred elemental magic using the elements, and there's certain gods that they can learn about based off of their lineage. So we're starting new classes on October 15th too. So if anybody's interested, they can go to the webpage. But one of the things I'm very big on too, is teaching Africans in America their traditions.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
If I was in London, I would be teaching London Africans in London their traditions.
And if using Birmingham as well.
Birmingham, right? I keep
Yeah.
thinking. Well, it's all
yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah,
it's close and shit, sister. Don't
yeah.
worry about it.
Now you're Jamaican, right?
Excuse me. Montserratian and Saint Kitts. So yeah, I'm Caribbean.
Caribbean, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. You know
Okay.
how we do it, man.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're saying that though. I mean, pretty much it's just time for us to, those. It's good to have that knowledge, you know, because of who we are. I don't know if you know that they did a study here where they asked other races if they thought that black people were mystical or mysterious. 65% of other races said
Mm,
that they thought that black people, whether I don't care if you was African, Caribbean,
yeah.
whatever, they
Mm,
thought that we were mystical, magical. 65%
mm.
of black other races said that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Makes a lot of sense, sister. A lot.
yes, yep.
So let's get back to you. Let's get back to you, sister. How did we? So now we've gone from BK and now we're down in Georgia. How did we find that transition from being in hustle bustle of New York, and then now we're down south, and the pace, I guess, is a little bit slower, and we've got a lot more room to kind of move around in and stuff. How did you find that transition?
Well, when I first came here, I was going back to New York every year for about 6 years, 6 years, because I had to get used to the pace of Georgia. But now after the 6 year, I begin to get used to the quiet and the peace and
Mm,
the space. And I would go to New York and I'd be like, I can't wait to get home. I just want to
yes.
hear the trees. And, I'm used to it now. I've been here since 2001. So I'm used to it now. Um, I
Ve-
do like to go to New York, just, especially during the summertime to just sort of,
mm. The
big
vibe.
lights, the vibes, and but for the most part, it in the beginning it was kind of tough. It's kind of, and then a lot of people they didn't like. I remember one girl told me when I don't like New York because y'all have attitude. I said, what makes you think I have attitude? I
Mm,
said, y'all don't understand. New Yorkers, we're hustle and bustle. When you're in New York, you're always on the go. I said,
yes.
so you're not worried about this one or that one. Not that we have attitude. I said, we're just not we're in our own worlds. Everybody's rushing and moving and going.
Mm-hmm.
And why she ended up becoming like I became her best friend after that, right? I says New Yorkers are very down to earth. I said it's just that you have to understand we're always on the go. We're always got to hustle, whether it be good or bad. I said, and our minds are constantly thinking. New York is a fast-paced place.
Yes.
I even noticed when I went back after I would say 3 years, I'm walking down, going downtown Manhattan from Harlem all the way to
Because
Manhattan. I felt like I was walking in slow motion.
everyone's
I was like, oh
zooming.
my, yeah, everybody was going past me. I was like, oh my goodness. When I used to be right in that same energy, I used to walk
Mm,
90 blocks. But when I went back, I was like, I feel like I'm walking in slow motion. I was moving all slow. Because in the South, you have to drive everywhere. In New York,
yes.
take the train and you walk. So yeah.
Yes. Very different lifestyles, and as you, pardon self, as you've noticed and experienced, it's a kind of a resetting when you move out of that big hustle and bustle and everything's 24 hours, everything's on the go, as you say, it's walking distance or cab distance, whereas
Yeah.
you go down south, man, you gotta have yourself a car.
Yep. You have to have a car. You have to car. And certain places don't have buses. So you're SOL, although land is growing very much. Atlanta, they say, have 500 people moving to Atlanta today. So Atlanta is expanding. So their bus system, their train system is running to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So Atlanta
Mm.
is really expanding because you have everybody and their mother from Chicago, New York, Texas, all over the place coming to Atlanta.
Hotlanta, as
Yeah.
they call it.
Yeah, I don't know about it being so hot though, because it's cold right about now, and it's usually warm during this time. But I don't know about it being so hot, like they say.
Okay. Well, you're matching the UK at the moment, man, because it's cold out here, man.
Yeah, see. But if you remember, I told you all years ago on the radio show, we will not know winter from summer.
Yes, I remember
Remember that?
distinctly. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
So,
It's we get literally it's like a winter, autumn
mhm.
slash spring, and then we get like a little dash of sun for the so-called summer, and that's it, man.
See, see.
It's
But
great.
the paradigm is going to shift. Next year, you all going to see more warmer weather.
Give
You'll see.
thanks, man. Give thanks
Yeah.
if we can get that there, man, because they've been every year that the tease us, the little weather people, them the tease us and they say, yeah, 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 the UK will have an Indian summer in September.
I think my brothers and sisters need to get out of the UK. I think it's
It's
time to start heading back to Africa.
we need to head back to warmer climate, sea star. I would agree. Either back to the Caribbean, back to Africa,
Right,
or to
right.
America. One of those three continents. Um, or please three places, I should say, because obviously the Caribbean isn't a continent. Um, but yeah, I agree. It's not. It's very taxing for the spiritual essence of melanated people and for obviously our physiological makeup having the lack of vitamin D recharging capabilities over here
Yeah,
because they're
yeah,
constantly spraying Sea Star,
yeah.
constantly spraying.
Really?
If every with this corona thing, luckily we don't see too much because obviously there's not allegedly as much air travel. But if this was normal, there's just lines in the sky for from morning to night.
Mm,
It's
mm.
crazy, man. It's crazy, but we are chill, man. We coping. We ducking and diving. You know,
Well, you guys, this is where your African traditions come in. You better make your concoctions, keep your herbs there. You know what I mean? To protect
mm-hmm.
your body
Oh
from all
yes,
of that energy. That stuff right there. Yeah, you guys better keep your stuff in the house. Your golden seals, your echinacеas,
you
your
know it.
olive leaf, all of that good
You
stuff.
know the thing, man, and the strong back and the merengue, everything we have it, man. We're doing the little concoctions, the home brews. We can go
Right.
to specific places, and they've got the little fermented, little strong stuff, the tonics and all that there. So we're trying, man. We're definitely trying.
Okay.
Health is
Good.
wealth, as you don't know, sister.
That's right. That's right. We got to do the best we can with what we got. So that's when nature comes in.
As you highlighted earlier, nature, we are a reflection of what is outside, and when we go outside and get involved in that. And another important point I'll add is, and this is goes across the board, not just for people in England, we need to take our shoes off, take our socks off, and go outside onto the soil, to the grass, to the sand, and ground oneself back to
Nature.
nature.
Well, now 2 years ago, I had a message for the people. The ancestors told me to tell everybody that, right?
hmm
We wear too much shoes. Go outside and walk barefoot and connect yourself back to nature. Then the ancestors said we need to do water fast. And then the ancestors said we need to do green fast. 2 or 3 years ago, I put that out. There was a message. And not only that, that specific message came for whatever y'all want to say, it came from higher beings.
hmm
Because I also communicate with the cosmic beings. So the cosmic beings are the ones said that we need to connect back to nature. The ancestors said we need to do the fast and the greens. But that message was given a couple of years ago for us to do that because we haven't taken off our shoes. We haven't, we've lost our connection with nature. So yeah,
Yes. Well,
yeah,
as mankind and as humans, we are out of whack with nature. We've become a crack phone addicted, and I'll say we as a plural, a crack phone addicted, um, comfortably numb set of useless eaters for the majority, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's becoming almost shocking to see the levels of stupidity on a daily basis. But at the same time, as we alluded to earlier, before the build, we're seeing so much pockets of awakening and people actually questioning things which they see on mainstream media maybe, and starting to really, especially with this zombie apocalypse as I refer to it as, people now have an opportunity. So initially it was like, oh my God, woe be me, and this is a terrible situation. But through the weeks, well, through the days that have become weeks and the weeks that have become months,
Mhm.
people have started to actually look at the real self, have thrown away the facade and thought, what do I need to do? What can
Right,
I do?
right,
What should I do? you know, and now they're starting to create and build
mhm.
the 2.0 version of themselves, the better version of themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because people, you have a lot of people that are afraid. They don't know, especially with this COVID. I call COVID-19. I call it the spaceship. Okay,
Hmm.
but people are afraid. But what it has done is really help people to be more conscious, be aware of them, of their health, of who they are, what's going on. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So people are more conscious now, which it helps somewhat because you got everybody. Is everybody in the UK? What are they walking around with masks on?
Hell yeah, Sea Star. They're
See,
walking
see,
around, they're driving around with masks on and gloves on in the car on their own.
see, see. So you are talking about worldwide. People are walking around with masks on, even home in Africa, right?
Hmm.
So to me, I don't. It's something weird about it, but it's not weird. You understand?
Yes.
And I feel like they're trying to block people from the DNA reactivation.
Okay. Get into that in more detail, Sea Star.
Well, every 25,920 years, the body goes through evolutionary process. Um, we're going through our next stage, not in the sense of where we're going from monkeys like they said we were.
Okay.
Our
Yes.
body is evolving on another level. We're becoming more spiritual beings. So what's happening is the DNA is reactivating. So they want to say activation. They're saying activation, but the DNA is reactivating. Um, at one time, we use all strands of our DNA. We know DNA was just information.
Hmm.
So now what's happening as we come back to the beginning, because we're at the end, but we're coming to the beginning, our body will begin to evolve. A lot of people don't know that the organs even change place. I did a show about this, I think a couple of years ago on YouTube, speaking about the organs, how they have moved in different places. Okay. The
Hmm.
organs are changing. So the body is going through another evolutionary process of where at 1 to 2 strands of DNA is reactivating, and we're becoming more spiritual, more lighter. So a lot of people are getting these signs in their bodies where they're feeling aches and pains and having pains in the back of their head and headaches. They're going to the doctors, and the doctors are saying, "We don't see anything wrong. This is part of the body going through this evolutionary process of evolving into the next species of beings, of human beingness." Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Um, a lot of people think that we always just use 3% of their DNA. I was one to say that I was born using more of my DNA because I'm able to see in certain dimensions, right? They don't
Hmm.
want you to know that. But now, as you see a lot, and if you notice this too, I don't know if they're showing it in the UK, but a lot of these superhero movies, a lot
Oh
of our
yes.
children having superpowers and
Yes. Yes.
exactly. So this is real. So that's the part that I try to tell people our DNA is reactivating. Okay. I'm an ancient one. I know I'm an ancient one.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I'm telling you what the ancients told me that the DNA will begin to reactivate. We're in the age of Aquarius, the age of the water and the air, right? So
Water
we're
bearer.
saying that, right? We're coming back to the beginning where we were very highly spiritual beings. So it's not a coincidence that you see a lot of our children now and all these movies, especially with black superheroes, okay, that
Uh-huh.
are having these so-called pretend powers when they're real powers. They're not fake. They're not fake at all. So people watching TV and thinking, "Oh, wow, that's fake." No, that's just real. I can make electricity flow. I can make the wind blow. I don't know if you've seen the rapper that was on YouTube and he was excited because he was making the wind blow. And he was like, watch, I can make the trees move. And he did it. And I start laughing. And I laugh because this is something I've been telling people for years. A lot of
Yes.
people sleeping on my stuff from years ago, right? And I've been saying it, and the conscious so-called community. Oh, Nicky Love is spooked out. Nicky Love is this. Nicky Love. Okay, all right,
Mm,
okay. I'm
mm.
telling y'all, I'm not spooked out. I'm telling you, I can make the water rise. You don't believe me? So it's crazy because now with the awakening, you
Yes.
see these young kids coming out talking about, oh, I can make the trees move, or
Hmm.
flipping across the floor there's a little boy. He's black and he's flipping across the floor. He's doing it like a
Yeah, I've seen it. That little, yes, that little youngster gymnast guy. Yes, yes,
see.
yes.
Okay, so look here. They were joking about me years ago, saying I was spooked out, but I was telling them years ago, we are some very special people.
Mm.
We can do this. We can make the wind blow. I can go to New York, and it's funny, my brother, because when I go back to New York, because there's so much electricity,
Mm.
you remember there's trains underground.
Yes.
It seems like it resonates with my body. And just to share a quick story with you, I went and my cousin, he picks me up, and he said, every time you get in my car, my electrical system messes up, right? So I start laughing, and he goes, "No, I'm not laughing. Every time you come back to New York, you get in my truck, my electrical system mess up." So I didn't think nothing of it. So we go in the house. He has a microwave that was not working for, like, I think he said for 2 months. It didn't work,
Hmm.
right? So that was one incident. I said I wanted some pizza because every time I gotta go, I gotta get my pizza.
New
So
York pizza, I
yeah,
know.
New York pizza, right? So I get the pizza and I go, I need to warm it up. So I take the plug and I plug it in, and the microwave starts working. He said, "How the hell did you do that?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know." So he said, "That thing has not been working for 2 months." He said, "I swear to you, I plugged it in." So I start laughing. The last incident was when his phone, he had a cell phone, and it wasn't working.
Hmm.
He couldn't get it back on. He did everything. He reset it. He did the reset button. And he goes, I'm about to take the phone down to the shop and see if they could fix it.
Hmm.
So I said, give me the phone. I said, give me the phone. So I put the phone in my hand. Why the phone came back on? And he said, I don't know who you are or what you are, but how the hell did you make my phone come back? And I was like, you're the one who brought it to my attention, because now listen to this. I didn't know that I had that extent of that power like that. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And he brought it to my attention when he said, every time I come, when I get in his car, his electrical system messes up. I said, okay. So now I start questioning, well, who the hell am I? But it just made me open my eyes to see that so many of my people have a gift like this.
Hmm. Do you think that could
Um,
be down to the ley lines in New York, why you have that kind of impact when you get there, or have you noticed this happens when you're not in New York as well?
well, I'm going to tell you like this. It happens with that aspect of it with electricity. It's sort of like the electricity um, does something to my body, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, I can come back to Georgia, and the difference is there's not as much electricity here. So it's not as powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
But the other aspect of Georgia being here with the trees, I can do the stuff with the water. Like
Mm.
when we did initiations last month, we went out to the water. As soon as I get to that waterfall, it goes crazy. So
Shit.
it's sort of like, yeah, it's kind of weird when people think about it, but the water go and everybody goes, did you hit it? Did you make the water do that? And I share another quick story. A friend of mine, my daughter's friend, we were downtown Atlanta, and they have this huge waterfall, and the waterfall is very high.
Hmm.
So I walk over to the waterfall, and she's walking with us. I stood on top of where the waterfall is at,
Yeah.
and I said, rise up, spirit of the water, and the water went higher. And then I said, go down, spirit of the water went lower. So she looked, she said, did your mother just do that? Right? She said, and my daughter said, like this, she said, yeah. And then she
Mm.
said, do it again. I said, okay. I said, watch. I said, rise up, spirit of the water. So the water began to rise. And then I
Mm.
did it again. She goes, oh my God, how did you do that? So with saying that, it's different elements.
Yes. Yes.
And back to what you were saying, my brother, it's important for us to take off our shoes. It's important for you to reconnect to the elements, because I'm not the only one who can do it. You can do it when you're that connected to the elements. This
Yeah.
is why I can do that, because I talk to the spirit of water. Yeah, I talk
Mm,
to the spirit of the fire. I talk to the spirit of the earth. I talk to the trees. Those are my brothers and sisters. So when I go out, they wave to me and I wave to them. You see? So you're so
mm.
right when you're telling people to do that because everybody can have that same ability to manipulate the forces of nature.
We
And
are
I think that's right,
we are comprised of
right.
everything which we can see. So why why would it be so out of the realms of possibility that we can't affect what we are?
Like I say, when you walk outside, you walk into yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you are Mother Nature, and Mother Nature's you. Your body is literally made up of the same things as nature: calcium, phosphorus,
Yes.
water, you know, all of your bones are made up of minerals. So you have to know that when you are truly consciously aware of nature, nature's going to be consciously aware of you, and you're going to be able to utilize nature for your needs.
Mm,
Nature provides everything we need to sustain life.
exactly.
Everything.
Yes.
I don't care what they say, because you remember back in the and oh, what about you talk about the ancestors and the gods? What about it's all about food, clothing, and shelter? Remember that?
Yep. I remember it well, and
Okay.
a certain individual was pumping that specifically, but I won't even mention any
Yes,
names.
I know, I know. Yeah, food, clothing, and shelter. Well, how the hell, excuse my language, are
Mm-hmm.
you going to talk about food, clothing, and shelter when if you don't pay homage to that tree that provides your shelter, or to that food that grows in the
Mm-hmm.
plants? If you don't pay homage and give gratitude for the plants that grow your food, you can't. You see, you can't never negate the fact that nature has to be paid homage to because it provides everything to sustain life. If they come right now and a tsunami comes over the whole UK, what are you going to do to go back to rebuild it?
This
Who
is
are you
it.
going to resort?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They need to stop, disrespecting the very thing that they're a part of.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's an excellent segue into the
Yep.
Nicky Love Show on Blog Talk Radio. So paint the siblings and some of the listeners, pardon self, a vivid picture, man. How did that all come about? How was that concept and everything
The
all?
talking about the Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
Blog Talk Radio, I started that in October of 2007. I had a very good friend of mine who happens to be a very popular poet by the name of Talam Aseer, who actually invited me on to Blog Talk Radio to hear him doing his spoken word. And from that day on, he opened the door for me to find out about Blog Talk Radio. And I began to create my own show. And that was before Blog Talk Radio had all the hosts. At that time, when I started, Blog Talk Radio only had 25 hosts.
Mm,
Right. I was one of the first 25, and that was crazy. I watched them go through 10 different type of chat rooms. I watched them.
yep.
Actually, I was one of the one who actually got them to do the Rev Share program, which they do now when you do Blog Talk to pay you to do the commercials. I was the one who got them to do that. But that's how I started Blog Talk Radio, and it took off from there. And I actually started Blog Talk Radio with working with the community youth. My
Yes.
shows were about the youth, really focusing on getting the youth right and stuff like that. Then the next year, I brought the parents in. I had youth from colleges to the gang members. I had Crips and Bloods on there because I was very big on working with the youth in the community. So I
Yeah.
started off with that first, and every year it transformed into something else.
Yes.
And the year I think I met you guys with having a platform of bringing a lot of consciousness to the radio was in 2008 and 9 when I was giving other
Mm-hmm.
brothers their different shows, and we were
Yes.
bringing a lot of scholars on. So every year transition into something new. We had the 2-year period of teaching and educating and
Yeah.
you know uh, bringing consciousness to the community. Then after that, we evolved into the time to teach about our African cultures and the
Mm,
ancestors and the traditions. So
yes.
every year, the ancestors was using me to bring different segments and different information to the world,
Hmm.
because obviously in the UK, you guys were all able to come on and check it out too, which was a beautiful thing.
It was an excellent thing, Nikki, because, as you say, 2008, 2009, we had no form of access to what you all were talking about. I
Hmm.
learned so much, and a lot of brothers and sisters over here learned so much just listening to the 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 varied amount of speakers and guests that you had on, um, even from yourself, what you were bringing, the sistrings that used to have on there, Gigi and
Yeah,
them, and
yeah,
and it was a nice atmosphere. It was a pleasant vibe. It was about bringing forth the information. It was about sometimes having a bit of fun as well.
hmm,
Um, it's a far cry to
yeah,
what we see
yeah, yeah,
being played out today.
yeah,
It was so refreshing, and I think, as I've mentioned, and one of the reasons we're doing this is because without your platform, we wouldn't have the kind of black experience of sorts that we have on YouTube today.
right, right.
Without
I
you opening
agree.
up the doors, and, as I say, allowing all and sundry to come on, and
Yeah,
propagate sometimes some very strange information, a lot of the times some very on the point information, but you gave people an opportunity to share and to expose people to, wow, Noble Jew Ali, who I've never even heard of this guy, you know.
yeah, yeah. But for a long time, I didn't get credit for that though. For a long time, I didn't get the respect that I was supposed to get for doing that. But it didn't make me a difference, long as the information got out.
Hmm.
But I still feel like you pay homage, or you have gratitude for who allowed you to have that platform. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because a lot of times, you have a lot of male ego involved.
Yes.
That's something I did not appreciate, because I've always been one to bring the balance, and the balance is the male and the female. You
Hmm.
see, because we have to work together. So that was one of the things I disliked over the years. But after a while, I was like, let them be.
Yeah.
I did what I was supposed to do, which was bring the information through, whether I gave them a platform or not. Now the information is being heard, and that was the most important thing.
Agreed. Agreed. So the blog, how long was you actually on Blog Talk for?
I did Block Talk for 10 years. I did it for 10 years. And actually, the reason I ended up getting off of Block Talk, because I ended up doing filming a TV show that was here in the United States.
Yes, I remember you sent me the link just before I jumped off Facebook.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we did a TV show. Um, and they wasn't ready for the traditional stuff yet. So we didn't end up continuing that TV show, which it doesn't matter, because now I have my own network. So if I want to put whatever I film on there, I can.
Hmm.
Um, but it was going to be a really good show. It did play on WeTV, one of the major TV stations here. But I stopped doing Blog Talk because of that. Um, to really train. And then I was a little, but I'm not gonna be honest, I was a little bit tired too.
Oh
A
yeah,
little bit tired, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know. I mean, that's when the community evolved and
Yeah,
transformed into something very different to what we were
yeah,
all used to.
yeah, yeah,
Became almost into like the Smack DVD WWE kind of thing now.
yeah, yeah. Unnecessary nonsense that wasn't. I mean, we
Yeah.
had our debates, we had fun back then. You
Yes.
know, we had the issues of, you had the few select that wanted to be disagreeable spirits, but for the most part, we had a really good time.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
you know, the truth of the matter is, I think what we need to recognize out of that era was that the most important thing was, did you get the message?
Yeah.
And the message was to wake you up to who you were and to
Hmm.
recognize where you came from. And
Mm.
that was more important than anything else that happened on the Block Talk, shows, that you got the information and it allowed you to research further and know about where you came from and who you were. That's the most important thing out of all of those experiences. you know?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And just to reiterate, it was a pivotal moment when I stumbled across the Nicky Love show on Blog Talk, along with a host of other people who, um, put- I would say 60% of them came through yourself, but there was other people on the periphery who may have listened and then thought, you know what, I want to put some information out as well. So it was an excellent time for real scholarship and real people with true intent and intentions to try and make an impact and a change. And some of the information, as you said, walking out and saying hi to the trees and stuff. I remember that like it was yesterday, and I remember the response from a lot of people in the chat.
Yeah. You spooked out. This spookism. Yeah, I
This,
remember that.
yeah.
I will tell you who the only one who had a show before me, which was a couple of months before was Miss Blue. But Miss Blue did
Oh,
not have, she wasn't dealing with consciousness at all. But she was on Blog Talk a few months before I was. But she didn't bring any consciousness through it. No, I don't know.
was
Yeah,
she doing? Was she doing the tarot? She wasn't doing the tarot then at that time.
nah, she wasn't doing none of that. She wasn't doing nobody started doing spiritual stuff until I began to do spiritual stuff. I noticed that. After that, everybody wanted to do the spiritual stuff. I know she
Yes.
brought on the, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
nobody was doing anything spiritual. Now, when Miss Blue first started her show, she was doing something totally different. She wasn't even in the conscious community.
Mm.
But she had her show, I would say at least 3 or 4 months before I did, but it wasn't nothing to do with consciousness at all.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I was one of the first ones. I think I was the first one to bring consciousness to internet radio, to have the scholars and all the great, the Francis Cress Welsons, all of the great scholars, John
Steve
James
Coakley, you
Coakley.
had the last interview with him, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. I had the last interview with him. So I was the one who kind of, heightened that part of it, whereas I was bringing like real scholars through Francis Cress Welsing. We had Neely Fuller. We had, Dr. Blair. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
You had Blair on a
so
few times, didn't you?
yeah, we had him on a few times. Yeah. So I took it to the next level. But I think when I began to do the spirituality, after that, I noticed they started bringing on the panic because I used to have I don't know if I used to call it the Nicky Love pack, and then panic came out with the panic pack.
Panic
So
Pack.
yeah, I started
Yes.
noticing like everything I was doing, and even brother, let me tell you something. Even now, even on YouTube, I noticed that now all of a sudden I'm coming on with the spiritual vault. All of a sudden, everybody's coming on now. Pharaoh King, and these are my brothers. I love
Yes.
them, and I'll tell them to their faces.
Hmm.
But they're doing spiritual stuff now. Now you got
Yes.
Brother Rich and Sinetta doing African spiritual. Like really, come on, my brothers. Yeah,
We
and all the
know what it
same ones that
is.
all the ones that called me and said I was spooked out. All of a sudden, you're dealing with this now. You know what I mean?
Hmm. How
Yeah,
things change, see that. But you know what? Through time comes wisdom.
yeah,
And I think, as I say, a lot of the stuff you put out were little seeds and they needed to grow, they needed to be
right.
watered.
Yeah, very true. Very
So
true.
it's coming to fruition, and a lot of people now are sort of seeing it, and they're like, "Yep, okay, that makes sense. Oh, that's what you meant. That's what you were talking about. I get
Right.
it now." So
Yeah,
it's we just got to continue doing what we're doing. As I say, each one teach 12. Put the information out, and
that's right.
trustfully they will consume it, ingest it, and actually show and prove, do something with it. It's the days of just talking are over.
That's right. That's right.
2020 now. We got to do it, man. We just got to do it.
Yeah,
So,
right,
Caesar, before we
right.
wrap the build up, what have we got
Mhm.
going on? As you alluded to, you've got a new network now going, haven't you? Because let's go into some detail about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Wunam TV network. And again, you'll be able to watch it if you have Roku TV. You can watch our network through Roku TV. Um, and Apple TV.
Hmm.
Okay. And we're in the process of launching it. We haven't put any videos up yet,
Hmm.
but we're going to be putting up videos. We're working on some new shows. We have a new show called, we have two new shows, one called Voodoo Chronicles, and we have another show called Two Dope Kings. And then we
Okay.
have another one coming out real soon, which we're going to be launching this weekend. That one is called the High Priestess of the Ancient Ones. So we're
That
coming with
sounds
some new
cool.
shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the titles
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So you'll see it. Well, I'm gonna share it with you. We actually created a Facebook and a Twitter. We're gonna do one for Instagram. But
Hmm.
what's cool about it, if you have local TV, because I know they have it all over, you'll be able to go on local TV and put in Wunam TV network, and you'll be able to see all our shows, including any movies or anything. Because what we're trying to do is make this a platform, especially for people who can't afford to get their or having a problem getting their shows or whatever they're filming on major networks.
Hmm.
So we're saying, okay, we're going to give you the opportunity. Of course, they have to pay, but it's not going to be as much as a major network.
Of course.
And also giving back to the community that anybody who has commercials or products or services, we're making it affordable for them to promote and get a piece of the pie of 62 million people, so they can begin to make money too. So it's sort of like Blog Talk Radio, where I actually gave them a platform where each day a brothers had their shows.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Right. So what I'm going to do now, what we're going to do with the TV network is we're going to do something similar. And the TV runs 24/7, 24 hours a day. Um, and we'll also have video on demand categories. So that's our major project we're working on now, with the exception of filming and bringing out new
New.
shows to the people.
That sounds very interesting. So, as you say, it's going to be the blog talk 2.0, but with the visual element to it as well, and
Exactly.
with additional filmmakers and other short stories, etc. Whatever sort of
Exactly.
medium. Perfect. Perfect.
Exactly. So we're taking it to the next level now. It's going to be fun, exciting, and something that I'm proud to present, especially to the community, because being in this arena, the arena besides spirituality of acting or doing TV, which is something that was always on my stuff from a very long time.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not, a lot of people, to say this, a lot of people from Hollywood was reaching out to me um, to do my own show. They wanted to do stories about me, but a lot of the companies were saying they wasn't ready for a black, so-called
Yes.
in America, psychic, or a
Mm.
black African traditional healer. So it would seem like it would always fall through. And then with the last show we did, it was like, okay, I don't know if they're ready for that. And then of
Yes.
course with the negative connotation of people not understanding about voodoo, which I don't like to use the word because people still equate that with bad,
Yeah.
not knowing that just means spirit, you know, um, they wasn't ready for it, but now they're ready. They're ready.
Definite. Much success.
Yeah.
And as I say, all links will be below. Um, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you, C Star?
They can actually they can, let me see, do you have a chat in here? They can put, let me see if I can give you my website. They can actually go to our webpage. We have two webpages. We
Hmm.
created a sister's webpage called the African Vuhu Palace.com.
Spell that.
Is African Vuhu VOOHOO. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you on
Yes.
here.
Okay.
Okay. That's our sister website.
Hmm.
And then they can contact us through our website, Wunam and Adinkra.com. I just sent you that link and I'm gonna send you the other link.
Okay, I got that there.
You got it? Okay. And
Yes.
then they can contact me on Facebook, Nicky Love on Facebook.
NickyLove.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for spelling it right, because everybody always want to spell it wrong.
They want to do the Ni double Ki in it.
Yeah, they always do that. And and they'll see it and they'll still write it on Facebook.
I,
And they can Google Nicky Love Wunam, and I'll come up with many different. I got Twitter, I got Instagram, um, if they're interested in any spiritual work, spiritual readings,
Mm-hmm.
ritual work, we do a lot of ritual work. We do a lot of rituals readings. We have a lot of spiritual products too. We do spiritual baths, protections, all of that good stuff. They can go to the Wunam and Drink.com or AfricanVoodooPalace.com. Okay.
Excellent, excellent. Now for the
And we're
excuse
on
me,
YouTube too. Our YouTube page, you can see all our videos. You can check out the spiritual vote on YouTube.
and what's the name of the page?
It's Nicky Love Wunam.
Okay. Oh, all right then. All right then. I got two more things for you, C Star. I got two more things for you.
Okay.
Wunam. Break that down.
Wunam.
Mm-hmm.
Wu means I was created by what we call the Wuni gods or the Wunonam, because as well as I was born into a tribal tradition, I was also called and chosen to be part of another tribal tradition in northern Ghana by the Fafa tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they chose me, and they gave me that spiritual name Wunam because they said I am the one that is over the spirits of the land.
Give
Okay, so that's what it
thanks.
means. Wunam means overall. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, I was created by the Wunonam, which is the gods of the ancestors.
Give thanks, C Star.
That's why
Okay.
y'all hear me talk about the ancestors so much.
Indeed, it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. Have you had fun, C Star?
I enjoyed it. I had fun. I wish you had some people on here so we could get some questions.
Yes, you know what? Maybe for the part two, I'll do it as a live or something, and so we
Yeah,
can we can drop it like that. I've
yeah. I
got
got a link with my UK family. I love my UK family.
definite man every time, C Star, every time.
Remember we did a show? Remember the show we did?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we did, and that was when on the old carbon radio.
yeah. No, I'm talking
Yes.
about I had you all interviewed because there was racism going on, and I wanted to know what. Remember, I had a bunch of you on my show,
Oh,
and
you're
you
talking
did
about
it.
urine. Yes, yes, of course, of course, of
Yeah, and
course. Yes,
talking about the
yes.
racism in UK, and y'all was talking about how it's really racist and stuff. The same that was going on here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, 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 yes. We did that, yeah. And then, strangely enough, C Star, Gus T Renegade got in contact with me to do exactly the same thing.
really?
Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay, okay.
crazy how
Yeah.
things happen,
See.
man. Mm.
Yeah. Well,
My,
we still gotta keep in touch with our brothers and sisters. Real quick before we go, Ancestral Voices. You know that? Are
hmm.
you in contact with them?
Yeah, yeah,
Are they doing any more videos?
yeah. To be fair, I haven't been in contact with them at least about a year and a bit, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll do some research and keep you abreast.
Okay, good, good. Let me know.
Definitely, definitely. Very last one is I know your name is Nicky Love, so tell me who you are, but don't tell me your name.
Who am I?
Hmm.
I am that I am. I am the mother of the universe. I am the ancient one. I am who I am.
Give thanks. Please do go to all the socials, subscribe to Nikki's YouTube page and the Twitter, Facebook. Get in contact, do the knowledge, go on the website. And most definitely, if you got that Roku, check it out, man. Content's going to be up. If you've enjoyed, comment, like, subscribe if you're new, and most definitely share.